All right, we're about 2 minutes away from the end of the trading day. Katie Greifeld and David Gura in for Romaine Bostic, and here to help take us through the closing bell, it's a global simulcast. We're joined now by Massar and Tim Stenovec. We bring together all of our different audiences across all of our different platforms, Carol. And what an interesting day it has been in this market. The S&P 500 all over the place, but certainly looks like we're going to finish in the green.
Yeah, we're looking at, what, 6 months of gains, back-to-back gains. We haven't seen this in a few years. So the trend certainly has been a positive one. You know, coming off, go back to April, right, when the tariffs were announced and we saw kind of havoc in the financial markets, stocks selling off. We have had quite a bounce back since then.
Yeah, if you look at the NASDAQ 100, it's even a better picture. 7-month surge, could be the longest in 8 years. Big tech, we're seeing it today with Amazon and other companies helping propel the index higher.
Yeah, absolutely. And the story we've been talking about here over the course of the day, so much of the Amazon earnings that we got, we saw great outperformance here in terms of cloud computing and its Amazon Web Services. Continues to be an AI story here, even amid the anxiety that we've seen here about how this story is progressing, and a lot of investors saying we have to see some proof in the pudding sometime soon.
Yeah, it's interesting to see Amazon get that trade back on track, because we know we ran into quite a lot of pain after we got some of the big tech earnings earlier in the week. I think about Meta, for example. A lot of anxiety. Once again, it feels like this comes around every couple of quarters about that ROI and just how much some of these companies are spending, Carol.
Yeah, Meta got some pain, some others did, but for Alphabet, it was like, okay, go ahead and spend. We're okay with that one.
Yeah, I guess it depends what type of company you are and what you're actually spending it on. Maybe for Meta, it's not quite as clear as it is for an Alphabet, but in any case, we're just seconds away from the market being officially closed for the week and for the month. The S&P 500 going to finish about 0.3% higher. We're taking a look at a level above 6,800 on your S&P. The NASDAQ also participating, up 0.6%. We still have the Dow Jones up there. You know, it doesn't really tell you much these days, but it also finished higher. Then you take a look at the small caps, the Russell 2000, also higher by about 0.5%.
You're such a Dow hater.
I know, but it's a price-weighted index.
What did the Dow ever do to you?
Doesn't make sense, Carol.
I know. I hear you. I hear it. Hey, listen, the S&P 500 for the month of October, folks, up 2.3%. NASDAQ 100, a gain of 4.8%. And this on a day, David, where we are seeing kind of an even split in the S&P 500. 260 names to the upside, 239 to the downside.
Yeah, you're right. It's roughly half and half. You're looking at consumer discretionary up about 4%, energy about 0.6%. You know, we talk so much about tech and information technology. I'm struck here just looking at the IMAP function here on the terminal. Information technology down actually about 0.3%.
All right. So let's go to kind of a mixture of red and green there. So let's go to some of the individual gainers. I had to talk about Amazon, your top gainer, or among your top gainers, certainly in the major indices today, finishing the day off its best levels, but still a gain of about 9.6%. Just quickly, you know who they are, e-commerce, cloud computing, one of the largest market cap companies out there. They did report third quarter results that beat expectations, with its Amazon Web Services business especially strong, and it also gave a positive forecast. Lots and lots of Wall Street analysts raising their price targets on the stock. I do think this is also maybe a record close on this name. We certainly did see a record intraday, and it looks like a record close also for Amazon on this Friday. Over to Netflix we go. That stock up about 2.7% in today's session, rallying. It announced a 10-for-1 stock split. That was after the close yesterday. Also, Netflix said to be actively exploring a bid for Warner Brothers studio and streaming businesses. This came out from Reuters, citing people with knowledge of the matter. Remember, though, Bloomberg News also has reported earlier that Netflix and both Comcast are weighing bids for parts of the company. So company at play, but Netflix was higher 2.7%, and Warner Brothers as that target up another 3.8% in today's session. And then I just wanted to throw First Solar. That's your number one gainer in the S&P 500 on this Friday, a gain of about 14%. Third quarter earnings per share beat estimates. Analysts viewing the company's full year narrowed guidance as better than feared, given the regulatory backdrop. We know the pushback that we've seen from the administration on solar and other alt energy. Several analysts also raising its price target, Tim, on the stock on this Friday.
Well, First Solar may be the best performer in the S&P 500 today. The worst performer, that goes to Dexcom, down 14.6%. This after the company cut its adjusted gross margin forecast for the full year. There were some analysts, though, who came out and said that 2026 growth outlook, I was a little cautious. They view it as conservative, and several firms saying they're going to use the weakness as a buying opportunity. And think many would argue there was quite a bit of weakness today. Speaking of weakness, the worst day ever for Newell Brands, down 28% today. This is the parent company of Graco, Rubbermaid, Yankee Candle, Elmer's Glue, Sharpie, and more. The company cut its normalized earnings per share forecast for the full year, reported third quarter results that were below consensus. It's now trading at levels last seen in 2009. The company said it raised prices in response to tariffs, but competitors, they did not do the same, and that hurt its position in the market. And finally, more superlatives for Luminar Technology, ticker Laser, L-A-Z-R, the worst day ever for the company. Shares fell by more than 45%. It's now trading at its lowest level ever. It's a record low for the company. The automotive tech company makes LiDAR sensors and more. Raised a going concern warning. It says it received a subpoena from the SEC for documents in connection with an investigation it's conducting to determine if there has been a violation of federal securities laws. The company is exploring strategic alternatives, including a sale. Once again, shares down more than 45%.
Yeah, total wipeout in Laser. Let's get to the good stuff and go to the bond market. We've been talking about AI, of course. We had those magnificent 7 earnings, but you remember, we had a Fed decision this week. We had a Fed meeting in which the Fed chair said that a December hike or a rate cut rather in December, it's no sure thing. And that really has had an interesting impact on the bond market. Today, though, pretty quiet. The 10-year Treasury yield, I'm going to go ahead and call that unchanged. We're still well above 4%. We did briefly get below that earlier in the past week or so. But overall, pretty quiet when it comes to the bond market, Carol.
All right, let's get to, well, first of all, I just got to say, David Gura, are you trying to cause some problems? You want Tim to do the gainers?
Yeah, I thought maybe mix it up a little bit. Next time I fill in, if I'm invited back,
I've had people say, how come you never get
that.
People have said, how come you never get to do the gainers? And I say, I do them when Carol's gone.
Well, David Gura causing a ruckus in this chat, also calling out Tim Stenovec for submitting his decliners late. So.
That's a normal thing, David. I'm kind of a
just squeezing them in
being
there.
outed here on air.
Well, you know.
Causing problems. All right, let's get to some stories that are on our radar. A lot of it has to do with Halloween. It is Halloween. Happy Halloween, everybody. This one caught Tim and my attention. Comes from our Business Week daily newsletter, and it has to do with an old bank that's downtown. It's been vacant. It played a pretty big role in the 1920s in terms of the excesses and then carelessness. It's a National City Bank of New York, and now a lot of folks are going there to celebrate Halloween.
Okay, there's a
This
spooky
is Tim.
teller.
I think this is Tim in your costume, right, Tim?
That's Carol.
Oh, sorry.
Ouch! All right, you get
teller.
gainers next time.
There's an undead cop who wanders the hall. The experience is decidedly hair-raising. There are killer clowns lurking in the vault.
That was a killer clown.
Yeah. Oh, that was the killer clown.
I think so.
I don't know. This seems pretty cool. This is like very Bloomberg, right? It's Halloween meets finance meets, a little bit of banking history.
Boy, Tim, do I have a story for you.
Okay, I'm waiting.
The story that we are bringing to the table is about Halloween, but also AI. Apparently, there's a haunted house owner, a real estate developer. His name is Derek Strine. He wants to turn the nearly 130-acre grounds of the former Pennhurst Asylum into a world-class data center. So as I understand it, it is a haunted house currently, but look at all that land, that square footage. Why not turn that into a data center? They're very hot right now.
Just fascinating, this story. 120 people work there on the holidays. It's like a successful haunted house, yet not successful enough, it seems. He's already spent, I think, millions of dollars, Katie, kind of lining it up to get more electricity, make it into the data center that he hopes it is. I guess make it more useful year-round? I don't know.
Well,
I feel sad
true.
about it.
It is a seasonal business, I suppose. We'll have to check in with him this time next Halloween.
Does anybody hear a bubble bust?
Well, is there anything more emblematic of our times than a transition such as this?
Yeah.
I don't know if they can get the power. I know he's trying to get the electricity up and running, but if you can get the power, why not?
130 acres. I mean, that's a lot of haunted house to get through.
A lot.
As well, I don't know. Maybe it's restricted just to the main asylum complex.
A lot of questions.
Kind of crazy.
Get him on the show.
Really important before we go, costumes, Katie?
I'm going to be a cat. I actually have some cat ears over there, but
that is not
I am
surprising.
not allowed to wear them on air, as you might imagine.
That's a shame. David?
I have no costume, but I have 3 children. I'll be squiring around the neighborhood tonight. Maybe I'll see Tim.
Brooklyn
no?
Dads?
Yeah, I think you probably will.
Yeah.
I'll be about 45 minutes behind you.
Okay.
But what's your costume, Tim?
Oh, no costume either. I'm just
Okay, very cool.
holding the kids' hands and we're going trick-or-treating.
Carol, help me out. What's your costume?
He's going as an anchor man. No costume either.
Oh, my God.
Katie, we're grown-ups.
I guess. Jeez,
I'm going home to
joy.
pizza and wine, kids. That's what I'm doing.
That sounds pretty good.
All right, that's a wrap.